So I wanted to make a dim bulb tester so I can continue work on my amp. So I thought the easiest and most affordable way to do this might be to use some parts I had laying around. So I found some aluminum I have that I used to put some soffit on a house that I sited. So I marked out my layout here. And now I'm just going to go ahead and cut it using my tin snips. So that gets me down to the section I need. Now I got to cut off my extra. So cut each section like so. So I will cut each corner the same as that. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll be back. All right, so I got all the corners cut off. There's cuts in here too. We're going to move on to the next parts. Is we need to cut out the holes. We got one for the power to come in, one for the power to go out, and a couple where we can install the light bulbs. So I drilled a hole in each of them to get me started, and then hopefully that'll give me just enough that I can sneak my tin snips in here. Might be easier if I get a different tin snips to go back the other direction. So you can see, maybe it would have been better if I'd have drilled a bigger hole, but I'm going to be able to get it done. I need to grab my other tin snips quick. So if you're used to the tin snips, the red has one way it goes out. I think it's called a right-handed. The green's the opposite. It's called a left-handed. I think. Might be the other way around though. But if I use both, then I can pick the one that fits with what I'm needing to do at the moment. Or I can cut from the back side. And the reason that I'm cutting this the way that I am is instead of just cutting out the square and having these sharp edges, my goal is to be able to fold these under, and when we do that, you'll see what I'm talking about. In the meantime, I just need to get these cut out, and then we'll be able to start doing our folds. You'll know exactly what I'm saying. When I get these cut, you'll be able to come back. I'll show you what I've done. Alright, so I don't have them all cut yet, but we're going to make our first fold so I can get some of this out of our way. So I got my duckbill bender here. So I'm going to kind of straighten this out a little bit. It's not too hard. Then I'm going to come in here and put my duckbill right on the edge where I want it bent. I'm going to use that to start my crease. And I'm just going to take, and if I had something hard, I could use it, but I just fold that down. Then I can come and take a hammer and kind of whack it, get it nice and tight. And then on the side where I'm actually is going to be my good finish side, you're going to see the folds right there, and it's not going to be sharp and cut my finger. So I'll get some more cuts made, and then we'll come back and finish those out. All right, so I got my X cut, and now I'm just getting my duckbill fit onto each of these. It's a little small for this particular device. Might have been better if I'd done something slightly different, but we'll make it work. I just want to get this started bending underneath. Probably shouldn't do this the way I do it, since you risk cut your finger, but I have confidence in my ability to not cut my finger. Okay, so I'm going to get each of those. So now we get those bent far enough. You can start to see what it's going to look like on this side. And then that's going to give it the support needed for me to take my outlet. And if I got my X cut big enough, I'm going to be able to pop that in there and support it. And I think I do. So we're just going to go ahead and bend these down a little bit tighter. Kind of pulling them out a little bit just because I got them pretty tight. Okay, and then I'll go outside and hammer these down with a mallet. And then I got to do, for my bulbs, I'm going to cut a little more complicated. I'm probably going to cut the inside out just a hair bit. Give myself a little bit bigger hole. So I probably could have just drilled a bigger hole. Might have been a little bit easier, but I hadn't really thought it through so much at the time. So I got my bigger hole. So now I can come in here and I can make a series of cuts, kind of like the X I made for the square. And then I'll be able to pull each of these underneath and fold them. So I think maybe I should just go grab a pliers to do this. Actually, this is working better than I thought it would. You start to see, I'll get those pulled out as far as I need them. I think I will grab a pliers. But, so then I'll have my square here, I'll have my rectangle over here, get 2 round holes, and I'll be able to fit in my lights. Then additional things we're going to do is we're going to take our duckbill and right along this bottom edge here, right? We're going to add some bends to protect ourselves there too. So we do that on every edge. I'm going to fold that all the way over, just like we did here. So we'll get a bend on all 4 edges. And that gives it some more structure too. So you gotta fold these down in tight. So you see, you can get that nice and tight. Makes it so it's safe. We're not going to cut our fingers, which is what we want. Once we get those, then we got to come in here and where we did our bends, we got to do it to a 90 degree on each side, like so. When we get this all done, we're going to be able to make our main bends. So I have these parts laying around, but even if you don't, it's pretty cheap. All right, to find an extra piece of aluminum some roofer doesn't need. Okay, so once that's done, we can come in here and start making our bend here. And we're going to end up, I got to get my other light bulb in place, but you'll start to see how this is going to come forth. Let me bend my other light bulb, get these out of place, and then we'll come back and we can put these together and get our pieces put in, and you'll see pretty much what the finished product's going to look like. So on this other one, I actually didn't cut out the bigger hole. I just left it the small hole, and I grabbed a small little pliers, and that's actually working a heck of a lot better because I can get in here, grab the small piece I want, and then get it to bend or the break right where I want it to be. And I kind of intentionally cut each piece to the size of my pliers nose, and that's working much, much better because then I can just bend it exactly where I want it. So now I got those all started, so I can just come in here and bend them out. Then I'll take my mallet, like I said earlier, to flatten those all out good. And then I'll be able to take and mount my light bulb through it. And you'll see how that works out here in a sec. So I bent these down a little. I want that hole a little bigger than what I did. So I bent them down a little prematurely. So I just got a little putty knife, or you could use a chisel or whatever, or a butter knife even. And then I'm just gonna pull them out a little bit tighter and do it again. And then we'll have enough room to fit what we need. One of them just broke off on me, which will be fine. Just won't be, which is no big deal. I'm just trying to be overly cautious here. Make it not sharp. Give it a little bit of extra sturdiness by bending these over the way I am. You don't absolutely have to do it this way. I just don't know why not if I can. So we're gonna get these bent over now. There's another one that broke off, which is fine. That's why you probably want to be a little more thorough than I was and make sure you get it big enough the first time. Because you start bending them back, you're going to get some brittleness in it. Okay, I'm going to go grab my mallet. We'll get those flattened out. So you need a flat face mallet so you're not putting a texture into it that you don't want. You kind of hit it with a sweeping motion to direct the force a little bit outwards. And voila, that part is done. So I probably hit those a little too hard because you can actually see I kind of forced an indentation on the other side. So maybe that wasn't the smartest thing I've ever done. But I'm going to go ahead and get a couple more folds put in here. Get one here. Then we put our fold in here. fold here. Then, if this works the way I think it will, my plan was to come and put a couple screws here, a couple screws there on all four sides. The other thing I could have done is bent these to like 135 degrees and then use some sort of clips or something to clamp them at this miter. Be like that, except tighter, right? You could get, I could bend, that's actually an HVAC joint they do. I could bend those a little fancier and then put a slide clip over. That might work. Haven't decided 100% how I'm going to do that. But so these light bulbs just go in there like that. Top slides on. Screws on. Oh. Actually, this hole should have been a little bit bigger, and then it'd fit through a little better. So I might have to take some time to find that hole out a little bit bigger. But not necessarily the key to the whole thing here. You get the point. So put one in there, put one in here. Right? Screw those all together. Throw my outlet right here. I wanted to make it tight because if you don't, it won't latch. Just about got it here. Right, there we go. So that's secured nice and solid in there. You see it's, so when I get that screwed in, we're gonna have that and that, two light bulbs, and then just, this will be over here, just like the other one. I gotta make the hole slightly bigger. Show you the final product when I get it done. Pause. All right, so we got this done here. It's a dual bulb design, which I guess was obvious. We got our input, we got a fuse, we got our switch, and then we got our output. And I had to wire everything up. I got, comes from the input to the fuse to the switch, then it goes to the two bulbs, and then to the output. And then just to kind of seal it all up, I got a little piece of plywood here that I cut to the right size. And it's just a matter of getting that to fit in there. I might have to cut it down just a hair. Get that wire to stay out of the way. Be a lot easier. There we go. Now we got it in there. So we got our nice solid box. And we can plug in here, plug it into the wall, flip our switch on, and there we go. So then we got power over here, and if power is drawn through, the light bulbs will flash and turn on, telling us the power is drawn, and also providing kind of a breaker that'll stop us from shorting anything out. So that's all there is to it. I guess if I had it to do again, I think the biggest mistake that I made, might have been easier just to use a hole saw to cut these holes rather than what I did. And then if I would have had this piece of wood cut to the right size prior to starting, I could have used it to help me fold these seams over. It made those a lot nicer. So that would have been all right. And then I guess I was also laying everything out on the back side so you wouldn't see my writing. But because I did that, I ended up mirroring the positions where I wanted the input and the output. So they're actually reversed of what I intended. Other than that, it'll work. So thank you.